Hello everyone, you are welcome to another exciting moment of our facilitation. In today's class, we shall examine the concept of monitoring and evaluation. At the end of this introduction, you will be able to describe monitoring and evaluation, state the functions, the importance, and the benefits. What are the steps involved in evaluation? We're also going to examine the ideas of writing reports that are involved in evaluation. On the whole, I believe you are going to get the best of this interaction. If you are ready, I'm also ready. Let's move into the class.
Yes, you are welcome back to the class again. The topic remains monitoring and evaluation with specific reference to project management, or you can say entrepreneurial management. Whatever you do without monitoring and evaluation is incomplete, particularly with respect to certificates in entrepreneurship education. I remain your facilitator for this session, Amusa Jami Oluwadamilare. This very topic has 3 units by the time you get to your course material, but we are going to take all the 3 units in this session, and this is a compressed learning outcome, and as listed at the end of this interaction, you will be able to carry out monitor and evaluation exercise, of course, of businesses, and plan and manage any project as regard business. You should be able to identify the importance of M&E in the context of entrepreneurship and business projects, identify relevant key performance indices for effective performance evaluation. Then you'll be able to develop proficiency in project planning, scheduling, and budgeting, that are tailored for entrepreneurship, and among other learning outcomes we have for this course. Now, the first question that will come to your mind is, what is monitoring and evaluation? Monitoring and evaluation is simply a systematic process that involves tracking and assessing the progress of any project, following up with performance and impact of projects, programs, initiative, or any idea of human endeavor. M&E, in the course of this course, M&E is referred to as monitoring and evaluation. So I'll be using that term or that acronym interchangeably. So M&E serve as a critical management tool, that enable organization to assess the effectiveness and efficiency of their initiatives. It also brings the concept of accountability, and people learn from experience. Basically, it involves data collection, because we are talking about M&E. You are referring to these 3 important aspects. Data collection, analysis. Of course, that's after your data collection, you go to analysis of results, and the final one, which is the third one, is feedback and improvement. Using M&E findings to inform decision makings, making necessary adjustments, and enhance project outcome. So the essence of the data collection is to analyze, and when you analyze is to get feedback, then call for improvement. So these are the key areas of monitoring and evaluation. It, of course, M&E has very, very important benefit. That is why it is included in this course. Like it appeared in definition. It is used for effective decision making. We talk about accountability, quality assurance. It ensures quality assurance. Then learning and continuous improvement. So it brings about that. It helps identify the best practices and refine strategies. It helps in resource allocation, optimizing the use of resources and project process. So stakeholder engagement. It engages stakeholders in the project progress, providing opportunity for feedback and collaboration. So it has a lot of benefits. Just go to your course materials, to expand on this bulleted points. Of course, this importance. What are the major importance of M&E? M&E is of paramount importance for any entrepreneur and business manager due to the following reasons. We talk about performance assessment. It allows entrepreneurs and business owners to assess the performance of their projects or initiatives, and talk about goal achievement. M&E, is able to establish objectives and key performance indicators. So those are some of those things that will come up. Your key performance indicators is going to bring them up, and it ensures the project stays as aligned with the intended goal. So it reduces the chances of deviation from the main goal. It helps in resource optimization that has been mentioned, and efficiently managing resources, including finances. So we're talking about resources in this instance. You are referring to your finances, time, and personnel. So it prevents wastages. So that's one of the major importance of M&E. You talk about risk mitigation. It identifies potential risk and issues, of course, potential risk and issues early in the stage of the project cycle, and it allows entrepreneurs to take preemptive measures to mitigate this risk and minimize negative impact. So other ones include stakeholders engagement, informed decisions making, learning and adaptation. It encourages a culture of learning and adaptations. Entrepreneurs can leverage lessons learned to improve future projects and refine strategies, and of course accountability. So these are some of the importance of M&E. Now, what are the roles of M&E in improving business outcome? So we talk about real-time insights. M&E provide real-time data and insight into project performance, allowing for immediate actions to address issues and seize opportunities. Some of these things are interwoven. It has been mentioned earlier, but it's because of the emphasis and importance of that. We should talk about continuous improvement. Regular measurement and evaluation exercise enable a feedback loop for continuous improvement. Entrepreneurs can refine strategies. One other decision-making strategies of it is efficiency and effectiveness. By tracking progress, entrepreneurs can ensure that resources are efficiently and judiciously used. Adaptive management. M&E facilitate adaptive management, meaning that entrepreneurs can adjust project approaches as needed, responding to changing circumstances. For an entrepreneur that has been coming from the past government, and dovetail into a new government, of course a lot of things will change, and you need to change your approach and strategies. So objective assessment, it offers an objective evidence-based assessment of project outcomes, reducing the potential for bias or subjectivity in decision making. So just go through the detailed explanation in your course material. Let's talk about types of evaluation. we have the formative evaluation, summative evaluation. And formative evaluation, takes place while the project is still ongoing. At critical stages, you take up formative evaluation. It aims to provide feedback and insight for improvement. It involves data collection and analysis to guide decision making. So then the other one is summative evaluation. This is usually conducted at the end of the project to assess overall impact and effectiveness. It focuses mainly on outcome, and results of whatever you are doing. So it is most suitable for assessing the overall success of a completed project. Another way to look at evaluation is its impact. We talk about impact evaluation. It is conducted to assess the long-term effect and outcome of the project. So it uses both quantitative and qualitative data to measure changes over time. It is appropriate when there is need to understand the sustained effect of project on a broader scale. And the last one, which is very close to formative, is process evaluation. It is conducted during the implementation phase to assess the delivery and quality of the project. It involves data collections, observation, and feedback from stakeholders, and is suitable, when the goal is to improve program implementation. So that is when process evaluation. So these are the 4 phases of evaluation. You just adapt the one you like. On self-assessment, take a breath and take this assessment. We need to talk about key performance indicator, and now the slide is, just give me a minute. Now let's go to data collection tools and method. The comprehensive exploration of data collection tools and method, data analysis techniques, and the design and implementation of monitoring system underscores the importance of robust methodologies in monitoring and evaluation. So, and there are tools and methods that are adopted. So one of them is survey. So survey involves structured questionnaires that can be administered in person. It can be sent through email or online to gather standardized responses from participants. They are useful for collecting quantitative data. You have interview. In-depth interview allows for open-ended conversation with participants to obtain qualitative data. So this can also be used. Focus group is part of it. You have observation, document, document review, case studies, and so on. So you can just go through the content, your course materials, to get more explanation. But these are basic tools, for data collection. On data analysis, there are also different methods that are used for data analysis. One of it is quantitative analysis. So quantitative analysis is usually applied on quantitative data collected through survey and structured method. They analyze using statistical technique. This includes measure of central tendency, inferential statistics, and regression analysis. So as an entrepreneur, you need to pick interest in some elements of analysis. So some of us that are enemy to mathematics, you should not be a complete enemy. So quantitative analysis is important, at least to interpret. We talk about qualitative analysis. For qualitative data that are gathered through interview, focus group, and open-ended questions, they are also analyzed through methods such as content analysis, thematic analysis, or narrative analysis. So these are also very important. You also have what we call mixed method analysis. So this is usually when both quantitative and qualitative data are collected. Researchers may use mixed method analysis to integrate findings from both data type. So we talk about statistical software. We have different tools like SPSS, Excel, or R programming, and are used for quantitative data analysis. So they assist in data cleaning, transformation, and statistical tests. So of course, some of these things you may not be an expert to use, SPSS or Excel. So of course, there are experts who can always work on your data collection. You see, this course is is targeting your company as at the time you are going to have a very big organization. So it's not limited to just the small businesses you are doing. At that time, you possibly have some of these experts working for you as an entrepreneur. So of course they will handle all this software for you, or you contract it out. We talk about qualitative data analysis software, that's when software like that. So you go through your course material. One other important thing you should understand under data analysis method is data visualization. This involves creating charts, graphs, and visual representation of data. It helps you during presentation of findings. When you're talking to the stakeholders, in your PowerPoint, you need to show the graph and those charts, to help you illustrate all what you want to present to stakeholders. You have descriptive analysis, descriptive statistics such as mean, median, frequencies. They provide a summary of data and highlight key trends of what you are presenting. So regression analysis. Regression model helps in understanding relationship between variables and predicting outcomes based on data pattern. So you can just go further in your course material to get insights into what this is saying. Go through the assessment. So part of things we need to know or learn is on design and implementation of monitoring system. So this is very related to data gathering that we talked about earlier. So just go through your course materials to study this aspect. Now yes, this is a very important aspect of this discussion. Key performance indicators, KPI. Key performance indicators are quantifiable metrics that gauge the performance and success of a project or business. They are specific, measurable, and aligned with project objectives. KPIs serve as benchmark to assess progress, achievement, and alignment with project goals. They provide a clear and objective way to measure the success or effectiveness of project or initiative. So this is the basic about KPI. Identifying relevant KPI is essential for tracking and measuring the success of any entrepreneurial endeavor. These metrics provide a clear path to assessing the progress and making data-driven decisions that drive the business towards this objective. So if you are an entrepreneur and you do not know the key performance indicators, of what you are doing, then this course is very relevant for you. Now, what are the requirements for relevant requirements? How to determine requirements for relevance of KPI of entrepreneurship engagement. Understanding relevant KPIs for your businesses. 1, you need to understand the business goals. You start by understanding the core objective and goal of the entrepreneurship venture, such as revenue growth, customer acquisition, or market expansion. So this will enable you to come up with the requirement for your KPI. Another thing is tailor KPI to objective. Select KPI that directly relates to these goals, such as customer acquisition rate, customer lifetime, conversion rate, or gross profit margin. Consider industry and context. Evaluate the industry environment, the market dynamics, very key, and business context to choose KPI that are most meaningful, relevant for your specific venture. The other one to talk about is to balance leading and lagging indicators. So these two indicators too, they are very, very key. You need to utilize a combination of leading indicators, that is predictive of future performance, and lagging indicators, measuring past performance of what you are doing, to provide a comprehensive overview of the success of your entrepreneurship engagement. Regularly review and adjust. Continuously monitor and review KPI. So you should not just keep your KPI to be constant. It has to be changing as the event unfold. So this is also very, very important. Now let's look at risk management in project engagement, in project management. Within the realm of project management, risk management is a comprehensive process that entails the identification, thorough assessment, and effective mitigation of potential risk. Do you want to tell me anything that you engage in that does not have risk? Everything we do, in fact, our entire existence too, is full of risk. So in this instance, particularly within the dynamics environment of entrepreneurship projects, this involves proactive measures to anticipate, look at that word, anticipate, evaluate, and address uncertainties that may impact your project objective. And this will bring about resilience and adaptability to maintain project momentum and achieve desired outcomes in the entrepreneurial landscape. So it has some processes. We have risk identification. You begin by identifying the potential risk that could affect the successes of an entrepreneurship engagement. The second one is risk assessment. Once the risks are identified, assess the impact and likelihood of each risk. So this evaluation helps you to prioritize risk based on their potential severity and probability. And the last thing you need to look at is risk mitigation. You need to develop strategies to prevent and manage any of those identified risks. So these strategies may involve risk avoidance, risk transfer, risk reduction, or risk acceptance, depending on the nature of each risk. Let's talk about the proactive approach. So proactive risk management is vital for entrepreneurship projects, helping to safeguard against unexpected setback and maximize the chances of project success. So in proactive approach, proactive skill management involves identifying and addressing potential risk before they escalate into significant issues. Today, we talk about business that have collapsed and they are non-existent again. So this aspect of the risk management is very important. You have to be proactive in what you are doing. Risk monitoring. You need to continuously monitor and review risk landscape throughout the entrepreneurial project. Contingency planning. Develop a contingency plan and response strategies to ensure adaptability. And lastly, you talk about promote a risk, risk culture. So as a culture of the organization, you need to promote a risk aware culture within the organization. So encourage your team members to actively identify and report, so you don't see and keep quiet potential risk that could be very, very injurious to your organization. Let's talk about project planning and scheduling. So in project planning, you need to go through these following processes. Defining what are the project objectives, project scope, project deliverables, task activities, and project timeline. So these are the key things under project planning. Now, the scheduling itself, this is a process of creating timeline and sequences the project must take and follow up. So you just don't put anything without giving a limitation. You need to schedule whatever you want to do and put timeline. You also need to talk about resource allocation techniques. So what does it entail? Resource identification, resource leveling, resource smoothing, and resource allocation software. Of course, there are resource allocation software that can help in doing everything as it were. So, and to take the summary of this so far, what we have discussed so far, success in entrepreneurship engagement project relies on strategic implementation of key performance indicators. Of course, after you have done the needful, so the key performance is very, very important for goal alignment, proactive risk management, efficient project planning, scheduling, and budgeting. So these are very key towards whatever you are doing. So, and I want you to go over the content using your course material, blended with this content of this video. So, and the last aspect of it, project budgeting and financial management. Creating and managing projects, budget creation, expense tracking, budget adjustment, cost reporting, and under the sustainability, because the sustainability of your business is very, very important. You talk about revenue diversification. Under that, you explore multiple revenue streams, and income sources to reduce dependency on a single source and enhance financial sustainability. So that one is very, very important. And you also need to know about efficient resource use. This talk about optimization, resource allocation, and utilization to minimize waste and inefficiencies, because these are problems that can affect your organization. You need to ensure that resources are used effectively, to maximize returns. Cash flow management. You need to maintain a healthy cash flow by managing working capital effectively. Never you eat or tamper with your working capital. This ensure that business has enough liquidity to meet financial obligations. So one other important thing that we need to know is cost control. You implement cost saving measures, negotiate favorable contracts with suppliers, and identify areas where expenses can be reduced without compromising quality. Look at the instance of change in cost of fuel, and that has affected the cost of transportation. So you may need to introduce the idea of work from home. So these are part of cost control and other variables. Now you talk about business planning continuity. Business continuity planning, yes. Develop a plan for business continuity and risk management to mitigate potential financial disruption. So, and of course, earlier on we talked about budget creation, and we also talked about resource allocation software and critical part analysis. All these are contained in your course material. Also go through them and align them with the content of this. So let's take this self-assessment exercise. So we have come to the end of this topic. I wish you the best of luck in this certificate in entrepreneurship education program. Until we meet again, bye for now.
Yes, we have come to the end of today's class, and I strongly believe you have gained a lot on monitoring and evaluation. I want to advise you to go over and over the content again. You will become an expert in monitoring and evaluation. Until we meet again, bye for now.